5:01. I'd call this meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we start on the agenda, we've had a fair amount of talk and discussion and rumors and so forth about the fatality this morning out on Route 18. I thought maybe we'd hear the true story from the chief, if you don't mind. Or the latest update, anyway.
I can't give you too much information right now because we allowed state police to take the lead on the investigation because it's a double fatal. And quite honestly, we don't have all the answers that people want as far as cause. All the people that were involved are either deceased or hospitalized. The crash reconstruction team was on site fairly early, and they're trying to put all the pieces together to find the exact cause of the accident. There are a lot of different factors involved, but it was quite horrific. And certainly our thoughts go out to the families of those involved, both deceased and otherwise. And it's tragic, and we're speechless.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We have no appointments that I'm aware of.
Nope.
And that takes us right into the town manager's report.
All right. Just give you some updates on some projects that are going on. First off, with the sub 5 sewer project, we put that out to bid, as we talked about previously. We did receive one bid, and the project was significantly over budget. Another issue that we've run into is the New Hampshire Department of Transportation requests that we do a full hydraulic study before and after the project to review the impact of 12 private sump pump stubs, which would collect water from 12 homes' basements if there was water in the basement, and remove it from the flow of our sewer and put it into the storm drain system, which would eventually lead to the storm drain system that's under Union Street. The New Hampshire DOT was going to require the town bear the cost of this, which was something that we didn't budget, and it was pretty expensive to do. They wanted to ensure that their 30-inch storm main wouldn't be overburdened by these 12 residential properties. So the other alternative that they presented us was that the town could take ownership of the entire storm drain system under Union Street, which is a pretty significant liability for the town. So what we did was we removed the storm drain the 12 stubs, residential stubs from the project, and we resubmitted that to our funder, which is the CWSRF program. And we also amended the time frame for the project to be able to get more bidders. So we've given the contractor more leeway to enable more bidders to participate. And so the CWSRF program, our funder, has approved the amended proposal. But at this time, we're still waiting on the New Hampshire Department of Transportation to issue their permit. They want to make sure that we don't connect any residential sump pumps to their existing storm drain system. So that one's moving forward. We're going to open up bids this Thursday. At the pre-bid meeting, we had a pretty good turnout, so we're optimistic. On next project we have the master plan project bid timeline. We're still on schedule with that. We have proposals due on the 10th, and the planning board is going to review and maybe decide on the 17th, and then we'll notify them and begin the master plan process for probably late summer this fall.
Does the planning board decide or recommend to the select board?
I think that they make recommendation to the town. They're not they're not going to contract directly. I don't know that they have the authority to.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Do you know if those proposals received digitally, or are they just hard copy?
I think the RFP said they could come in digitally, but, no, hold on, it said they had to be postmarked and sealed so that we wouldn't be able to open one up outside of the time frame. It's like a fraud prevention
But it didn't
measure.
require a thumb drive or anything like that?
I'd have to look back at the RFP and see if we required that.
I'm going to miss that meeting on the 17th, so I was hoping to be able to at least take a look at them, but,
We'll get you a copy, a digital copy.
okay.
Yeah, if there's not one included, then I'll have it scanned and emailed to you.
Okay, I'd like to
Yeah.
at least review them and give the planning board whatever thoughts I might have, if any, on it.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep, and Foster Hill project, that's moving forward. The paving is underway. There's a course of pavement down. What's that?
I'm sure the paving is eminent, but I
Yeah.
think you mean imminent.
Yeah, eminent, yeah. Yeah, that might be the time of day I wrote that. So-
The second lane of the top coat an hour ago was 100 yards short of being done.
Oh, wow. So we're getting there.
Tomorrow is gravel shoulders.
Awesome. That's
Nice.
great. So that project is pretty close.
Well, I was talking with Ralph, the person who drives the snowplow on that route, and he's a little concerned that, he said, I'm liable to be doing 40 or 50 down this road. You're not supposed to plow that fast, but I have to try to hold back.
Yeah, it's gonna be like so smooth, and beautiful. Yeah.
He's
That's
probably
good.
praying for snow right now.
Yeah.
I don't think so. No, it looks, it's nice. The residents that I've seen have stopped and thanked, and
Good, good.
they approve.
Good, yep. And I think we have a really good contractor too, and it looks like the transitions between driveways, and it's gonna be a good
I
project.
talked to both contractors, the paving and the guy that did all the ditching, and they were both nice guys
Yeah, that's good.
and seemed competent.
Yeah, the person who did the culvert is doing a project for us in the library here in the next few days.
good.
If he hasn't done it yet, a drainage project, so, yeah, very good. So Littleton Bike and Pedestrian Plan, that was at the DOT for review, I think not quite a year, but they've now accepted it. And that's also been sent to the planning board, and I believe the planning board has it, and they're going to review it for acceptance on the 17th. And also, they are going to consider whether or not to make that an actual piece or section of the master plan. So either way, it's going to be a good guiding document. We can also use it to, for support for grant applications, like another transportation alternative program grant or those sort of things. Mill Street pedestrian plan. We've met with, North Country Council's been providing us with assistance with one of their planners, and we've met with Main Street and some business owners. We're doing something similar to last year. We're just trying to make it a little more attractive and easy to follow. Even last year with us putting up the concrete barriers, people are still kind of wandering up the road. If you spend any time down there, it's pretty interesting what happens. I was down there while we were doing this for maybe an hour, and I saw 3 cars go the wrong way, and one of them pull a U-turn right in the middle of the street and go up the wrong way. So this should help. This year we're going to have a volunteer day coming up, where we're going to have a carpenter help us, and we're going to try to build some boxes that'll go up along the roadway. And today we've painted the crosswalks and all of that up there, so it's looking good. Remick Park, we had some critical pool repairs done to the building and the pool. Those have all been completed. The pool is still in rough shape, and it's constantly leaking water. It's something that we're going to have to look at as part of a capital improvement plan and see if we can get a project in the not too distant future to replace or if possible repair. Not too optimistic about repair because of how deep the issues are, but maybe get a modern thing in there in the future. Main Street Phase 2. I'm
Phone
sorry.
system upgrade.
Oh, yeah, I could talk a little bit about the...
Before
Yep,
we leave
yep.
the pool thing, what kind of leak, I mean, how much are they losing? Any idea of that?
I think they have to keep the water constantly on just to keep it at the level we need. And with that,
That's not a leak.
yeah,
That's a,
yeah, it's not good.
I think it's a series of leaks.
It is, yeah. I think what may have happened is in years past, the winterization might not have happened like it should, or maybe the winter got colder than they were prepared for, and I think that there's some serious issues. Everything's underneath concrete and deep. I know that we've, in the past, re-drilled holes to get circulation, to be a Band-Aid of circulation, but it's probably to the point where if we tried to fix it, we'd actually be ripping the whole thing up anyways to get to the piping, so. But
the water's running 24/7 to keep it that level.
that's my understanding, yeah.
Jesus.
So, yeah, we have a big water bill there. And we coordinate with Water and Light. I know that there was not a lot of rain recently, and we delayed the opening of the pool and slowed the filling and that sort of thing. We try to,
Well, Water and Light got a notice a couple of weeks ago from DES stating that there's a drought situation in the state.
yeah, maybe it'd be good if residents kept that in mind too, if, there's unnecessary or lowering watering of lawns. And
Have we
that
put
sort of thing.
together, anybody put together what that's costing us right now, just to keep the water full there?
Oh, yeah, we can get that information, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure it's gonna do us any good right now, unless we're gonna close the pool.
Oh, no,
That would be a-
we can keep it going. We did a lot of repairs this year. I know that Chris worked really hard to get a contractor in there and get some good pricing for a lot of masonry work and sealing of the pool. So, we keep Band-Aiding it along here a little bit. I don't think that the cost is so high that, it's something that we got to close it down and do it immediately.
No, but it'll be factored into next year's budget when they decide what to do with the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's see, Mill Street, pedestrian, Main Street Phase 2. So,
You skipped the phone, did you?
oh, the phone, yep. So I'll talk about the phones real quick. We've been looking at a phone system probably for almost a year. We were getting quotes. Our phone system is very old. It has, the only feature it has really is caller ID, and then you can't even look and see who called before, and it's just really kind of difficult to use. And I was trying to look at a system, a more modern system that would incorporate enough cost savings to really make it zero cost or near zero cost. And we got a couple of quotes last year that came in a lot higher. Some of them required that we get a fiber optic connection, or get a lot of on-site hardware switches, or a PBX system on site, which is also a cost. And they just weren't very attractive. We're looking at a system right now that the company has a very inexpensive monthly service fee, and they lease you the equipment, but they waive the cost of the leased equipment as part of your plan. And so it looks like this might be something that will really work, and we'd be able to partner with SNS. One of the goals that we had with the phone system was to be able to operate the phone system in between departments, even if the power goes down. And this would help us to have an internal connection between police, fire, town offices. So we'll be.
I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, but I just dealt with this. Time flies, so now it's probably a year and a half, 2 years. We changed our entire system. And Sean, who you're in contact with if you haven't already, really did all the research and all that stuff for what we switched to, because our phone system is probably the same one the town has right now.
I bet it is, yeah.
Reach out to him and just, if you need to see what he found, because he researched a lot of different phone systems.
Okay, yeah.
Main Street.
Main Street. So, Main Street Phase 2, we've applied for the Tiger grant application several times and been denied. We did a follow-up phone call with the federal highway personnel who deal with the Tiger grant program, and they reviewed our application. And they let us know things that we didn't know in the past, like, for example, our rating of it has been at times highly recommended by the staff, which is good. They've discontinued the Tiger program and changed it now into BUILD, which stands for Better Utilizing Investments to Leverage Development. I believe the Trump administration has done that, and they've also increased the amount of money that's now available, and they're really stressing rural projects. And what we'd seen in the past is the money was going to larger communities and bigger projects. So it sounds like we have a good chance this year. We're working on our application right now. It's a $3.2 million application, and we're getting letters of support from different groups in the governor's office and our legislative representation. So that'll be submitted July 17th. And that involves from the diner up West Main and then just past Bridge Street on Meadow Street and then down Bridge Street and hopefully a new connection eventually to Saranac Street. So, and it'll be a complete streets project, which again, as just like we're trying to look at with the TAP project, is we're looking at narrowing where we can with bump outs, doing other things that visually make people slow down, street trees and that sort of thing. So, yeah, and I wasn't really going to cover the commercial development item. I'm still kind of working on that a bit in the background, so we'll have more on commercial development in the future for the public. With Saranac and Medusa Street project, we're now moving into the construction phase, and I just got an update this afternoon. If you've driven on Saranac and Medusa Street, then you've noticed that there's been a stockpiling of materials. Some of the materials we're still waiting to come in for the section right in front of the Tannery Marketplace. So we're expecting that groundbreaking is actually going to happen tomorrow, and they're starting off with some test pits. So it's going to be not as invasive as once they start construction, but within the next few days, construction is going to be fully underway. They're starting at Hidden Brook Lane, and they're going to start moving up Saranac towards Amanusic. And then once the other materials that they're waiting on come in, they'll go back and hit the portion in front of the tannery. And one of the challenges of the project too is coordinating with some of the businesses that are actually in development or changing hands to see if anyone needs any upgrades to their services, like now's the time to do it. So we've been working, for example, with Amanusic LLC, and the tannery itself is, I'm not sure where it's at, if it's going to transfer, but looking at the new owner and trying to figure out what their plans are there too. So, and also with, we've been working with DCI to make sure that they have connections that, meet future needs, next 10, 15, 20 years worth of needs. So that's moving along and pretty exciting. We've been pushing that down the road for how long, Skylar? I don't know. Probably before I was here even. So, brief update on the rail trail. The rail trail project, we were having difficulty finding someone who was certified to actually submit the abandonment application to the federal highway. The only other attorney that we were aware of that did one in the recent future has actually moved to California and isn't available. The DOT has spoken to the Attorney General's office, and they've agreed to submit the federal rail abandonment to the Federal Surface Transportation Board. And so they need a number of changes in our submission, but they're going to submit that on the behalf of the state and the town. So once that happens, I think we're still going to, I think there's a 30-day and a 60-day window of a waiting period once all these notices are filed. So will it happen this year? I'm less optimistic than I was at the beginning of the year, so it's still in progress. Slow. Yeah, just slow. I also have just a quick update. We have a lateral asset management project, and what that is, we were able to, under our sub-5 sewer project, amend our clean water state revolving loan fund, and they gave us a grant basically to conduct a mapping project of all of our underground services, right? It's like manholes, storm drains, and the location of sewer mains, I think water's in there too, but they're working on theirs separately. And we're putting that into our GIS software through CAI. And recently we've gotten ArcView license and the equipment we need. And I think that starts this week, maybe Thursday, the mapping project. So that'll be good. The good thing about this project is right now we have, if it's in the middle of the winter and we know there's a line break or there's a drain clogged or a manhole issue, it could be under 3-4 feet of snow. We have no idea where it is. What this project will do is map everything out in a GIS platform that will enable a public works employee to have a tablet in their hand, and with the GPS on, they can walk through a site, find exactly where our assets are underground and dig. So it'll save time and money. So it also helps us track all the condition of our and work that we've done on the system over time. So it's a neat project. And then there's been a few updates just with the Littleton Cultural Arts Commission has been really active. They're working towards the mission that the board has given them. They're also been becoming active in the state. Recently went to Manchester Courier Museum for a creating, it was like a creative economy and creating cultural spaces or something like that. And we have a visitor coming on Thursday, the new commissioner of the Department of Historical,
Natural and
Cultural Resources. So we're getting some attention and
What time?
not settled yet. So yeah, we don't know.
Just tell me to book the day.
Yeah, so keep it open.
I'll let you know later.
Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much what I have.
Okay, thank you. Under old business, first thing on the agenda is the town bulletin board. Mr. Gelsey was here last month and talked about the need for a bulletin board. And actually Seal looked into it, and we found a bulletin board that was not prohibitively expensive, and we talked to the bank and we got their permission. So as far as I know, the board is ordered. I don't know if it's here yet. The bank has given us permission, so we will have a bulletin board on the outside of the bank below our offices, which will duplicate in large part what you see on Channel 2, what we have to legally notice in the newspaper, and what is on our town website. But it will be information in addition to those places, and it will be maintained by the town office. It's a big wooden box with glass doors that lock, so we will put the information in it and update it periodically.
So is the plan to continue posting like the library and at Water and Light as well? So you're going to add this to our posting?
It's an addition.
Yep.
to
Yeah,
what
I think we posted
currently
the
do.
post office and the police department too. So, yeah.
Thank you, Seal. Under new business, we have the budget preparation schedule and procedure policy draft, which we are meant to approve, reject, edit. I guess those are our three choices. Any of my colleagues have a motion? Well, then we can discuss it.
I'll make the motion to accept the budget procedure policy. Should it be in draft form or as?
Yeah, that's the draft, and if we approve it, it'll be what we do.
Okay.
Second.
How about some discussion?
To be honest with you, I haven't read this, the policy in detail enough to really have a strong opinion one way or the other of it. Obviously, I think I want to go forward with something, but I haven't,
Well, let me summarize. A lot of the policy is dictated by RSA in terms of timing and what you have to do. Basically, what we're doing with this policy is two things. We're moving up the time frame of the budget process so that we don't repeat last year's mad scramble and constant change after the first of the year. This needs to be done from the Budget Committee's standpoint by December, late December. The other thing we're doing is we're addressing the not-for-profits warrant articles that in the past, the Budget Committee and/or the Select Board have not taken action on some or all of those because of a lack of information. There is a form now that asks a lot of questions about an applicant and an application, including financial information, which frankly our former Select Board Chairman Milt found, and it's one that Grafton County uses. I think we've edited it and tweaked it to our use a little bit. But that tool will go to the Budget Committee. They will give that to those social service and nonprofits that want town support. And based on the submissions that come with that form, the Budget Committee, and then the Select Board also will be able to endorse or not the applicant's request for money. It will in no way prevent them from asking for money. It will simply add the Budget Committee and/or the Selectmen's support, which goes on, as you recall, the town ballot. Budget Committee recommends, or Budget Committee doesn't recommend. Same with the Select Board. So those are the two changes with the policy. One is speeding up the timeline, and two is the new policy for the nonprofit social service warrant articles.
I thought I saw on somewhere, I don't see it in this printout, but on the one that was forwarded to us, there was a summary of the timeline for the budget.
Yeah, I put it in the manager's report.
Oh, I know I read it somewhere. Where?
Yeah. You want me to read it?
No, I just want to look at it.
Yep. It's in the very end.
Got it, okay. So September 15th, development head, warrant articles submitted September 20th.
There's another slight change that I neglected to mention, that the Select Board did not get involved with the budget process until late in the process. We're going to be involved earlier in the process.
Yeah, I guess that's where I want to get to. Where do you envision us getting into in this timeline here?
Before it goes to the Budget Committee instead of after.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was seeing from reading the policy that it's October 1st that the Select Board would have a budget in their hands. There'd be time to review it before it went to the Budget Committee, and that by October 15th, the budget would be going to the Budget Committee for review. And that would really be a time where the Select Board could say, you know, we really don't want to see this part in here this year, or you forgot to think about this, could you take a look and add that to it?
Yeah, so the goal would be between October 1st and October 15th, the selectmen review it before it goes to the...
And discuss it with the town manager. And Andrew and I tried to go through a bunch of different scenarios, what can happen, and we've decided that it's okay, as unlikely as it may be, but it's okay if it goes to the Budget Committee with the town manager's budget. However, the Select Board disagrees with paragraph 4.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that's likely, but
Right.
we had wording in there that the Select Board needed to approve it, and we thought, no, that's wrong. We should be able to disagree if we have to.
And then the Budget Committee itself would do their due
Yeah.
diligence on it, and
Yeah.
ultimately, the board votes on it at the end.
Right,
Yep.
right, okay, so I'm getting to that point in my
Yep.
head now when I'm looking at this. So December 15th, it looks like the budget committee will, their final decision, their final vote on whether they support
Support the budget or not, yeah.
Okay, so I don't remember what the deadline is for the selectmen to approve the budget.
January, was it January something?
No, it was the end of December.
December.
Oh, by the policy.
Yeah,
Well,
the-
by state law,
I s-
the
it's-
warrant,
there's,
when the warrant must be set. Right.
The
it's
policy has us doing it in December,
Yeah.
after the budget
Tuesday in
committee.
January is when it has to be posted.
Okay, so we've really got two, from a budget perspective in terms of timing, based on our policy that we're laying out, we've got two crunch times for the selectmen. October 15th, October 1st to the 15th, and October 15th to December 15th to
Yep.
the 30th,
Right.
or whatever.
I
Okay.
know that in the past, I think the board has taken up the budget and the warrant articles at the same time. And so if you were to do that, then your meeting would be after December 20th, because that's the date that the warrant articles have to
And
be.
that's fine, but
Yeah.
we'll have the.
You'll have it, yeah.
We'll have it by on the 15th, so we can at least review it before we
We'll
come into
have
it.
the recommendations.
Yep.
Right, I understand.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Is there further discussion? There's a motion and there's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3-0. Next thing under new business is the Mount Washington Regional Airport Commission appointment. Mr. Ernstberger found that the job was much more involved than he had anticipated, and his attendance was iffy, particularly in the winter when he's in Texas. And he sought out Mr. Goody, who has agreed to take the job. So we have a resignation and a letter of interest. I would entertain a motion to appoint Dayton Goody as the new representative on the Regional Airport Commission.
Do we don't have to vote on accepting Dave's resignation then?
I suppose we can. Let's accept Dave's resignation first.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion on Mr. Goody's
Make the motion that we
interest?
appoint Mr. Goody to the commission?
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Good. Board of Assessors, do we have any Board of Assessors business?
No.
I didn't think so. Public comment? Well,
Just a couple.
Mr. Hodgson.
Just a couple of quick questions. On the leakage of the pool, where's the water going? Have we noticed any come anywhere throughout the community where that water's coming out of the pool into the community?
Not to my knowledge, I believe it's being absorbed into the ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like like if you had a water main break, like there was one, I think, a water main break over at the TJ Maxx parking lot area. And I think there was a water main break over near the co-op not too long ago.
That was a valve, but yes,
A valve,
it was a leak.
And on those, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you see,
Yeah.
you'll see a major saturation. But this isn't like that. It's more like like if your septic system, how it handles it, it just kind of dissipates. It's
I
not-
think the pool, I think the pool leak is better described plural,
Yeah.
leaks.
Yeah,
I think it's a sieve,
right.
Okay.
and it has been for years and years and years, and patched and
So it's not
patched and
something
patched.
major, it's just happening that we're gonna have the earth open up from us and the pool's gonna blow away?
We don't believe so, and I don't believe Water and Light is concerned,
Okay.
or at least not that I'm aware of.
The second question is on the budget schedule. When are the nonprofits due to have their forms in by? Is there a deadline they have to have them in by?
Second Tuesday of June.
Okay. and you need the budget from the budget committee by the 15th of December. But the budget committee acts on the warrant articles afterwards?
So the budget committee acts on the warrant articles before December 20th. Basically what this does, this section, so I think by law, they can submit a petition up to January. But the difference is, in the past, the budget committee and the select board have chosen not to vote at all on ones that they weren't sure of. And so they'd get a no on the ballot. It'd say not recommended by budget committee, not recommended by selectmen.
Okay.
So if if an agency does submit something after this timeline and the board doesn't feel they want to get back together and
The budget
vote,
committee doesn't have a chance to act
they're just
on
going
it.
to say no, it's going to be no.
Okay,
on
are they nonprofits going to be aware of that?
Yeah,
Yes,
they're all
Okay.
getting I think they're getting all a copy of the
of
the new
the
application.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Any other public comment? We don't have any board action that we didn't already act on. So we have two sets of minutes to act on. The first is the May 14th, 2018 minutes.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Well, second, I do have one. First of all, Seal, thank you very much for doing the minutes. You capture, it's not easy work, so thank you. And there was just one on page, the Monday, May 14th, and it was the last page. It says, when Joe De Palma, his paragraph, it says, if Franco and Carrie say that Skylar is good as a commissioner, that am good with it too. That I am good with it too. I don't know if that really makes,
I'll look at it.
yeah.
Mix it up. It sounds like it was interrupted.
Not that it makes a huge deal, but
Yeah, okay. So is there a motion and a second to accept the minutes of May 14th as amended? All those in favor?
I,
The minutes of May 21st, 2018.
I'll make a motion. Accept the minutes.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor of accepting the minutes of May 21st, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The board may go into non-public session. Is there any reason to go into non-public?
Nothing.
There is not. And we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.